Welcome, everybody. Before we get started, I have biohacked myself so far down that I'm back to puberty with my voice. Anyway, kidding. I lost my voice, too much teaching, so please excuse me. But today's presentation is about being generally awesome. I don't know about you, but do you guys want to be generally awesome in every level of your life? How about that? Now, I'm not claiming to be an expert in sleep, in nutrition, in meditation. I claim to be expert in life. So I've been on this journey through self-transformation in the past 10 years, and I've put myself into some of the hardest, craziest things out there. Anything from 30 days in darkness with no physical food, just water, to a shamanic training, a mediumship training in Brazil, all the way to Zen master and samurai training in Japan. And essentially, I committed myself that every 3 months, I'm gonna do something so ridiculous that it's gonna push my limits so I can find out who am I. Now, today's presentation is about frequency is everything, and we're literally gonna tap into your frequency. What does it have to do with how you eat, how you sleep, how you biohack in general? And today's presentation is really made after years and years of pain, whatever it's emotional pain, physical pain. I come from autoimmune issues, being sick every 2 weeks, and it ended my professional career. And I came to this wisdom through this suffering, unfortunately. Now I'm dedicating my life to essentially have others have the simple steps of the way so they don't have to suffer. They don't have to be in these crazy environments. And what I did is I brought those tools that actually work, that have scientific backing to back them up, and I made it simple in retreats, workshops, lectures, and so forth. So before we get going, I want to talk about a few of these pivotal moments. Every person is made out of these, and I'm not gonna, this is the part that I like the least, but it's also the part that I think will be bringing you the understanding of how I got to this. So I grew up with shaman in Czech Republic, born and raised there, and from a young age, I was always exposed to the spiritual. I never really took it on until about 10 years ago, but I more and more realize how we are the spiritual beings living in a physical experience, and if we don't look at our complexity, our frequency as a whole, we're gonna just be living this limited lifestyle. The second part, I'm an ex-professional cyclist, so I actually used to be in that drive. I raced pretty much every major race out there, from Asia all the way to South America, and it was a great time, but it completely killed my health. I literally collapsed in a national race, and that's when I had to stop, and that's when I discovered biohacking and healthy lifestyle on a whole nother level. Now, I also started my first company. So when I stopped cycling, I actually created my first brand when I was only 17 years old. It was after my father gave me a choice. You either do your little cycling thing or you have to figure it out. And I wanted to do the little cycling thing. And so essentially, I started selling between Alibaba and eBay. Now, this is about 12 years ago, before Alibaba was what it is today. And I literally started trading carbon frames on a bike. I would take a picture, put it on eBay. When it gets sold, I would take the money, and then I would ship it directly from China with zero income or money required to start. I sold it later on when I was 21. And I moved to America, and I discovered Orange Theory Fitness. This is when there was only 6 locations. I don't know if anybody has done it or tried it before, but I ended up owning areas anywhere from New York all the way to Hawaii, with about 80 different locations under my belt at this young age. Now, in this time and in this process, I lost it again. I went back into doing, and expanding and making more locations and thinking that I'll be the next billionaire or whatever the society tells us to be. And essentially, I lost it again. And that's when I went into the cave, and I literally gave them my phone away, and I said, whatever happens, happens. Now, when I walked out of that cave, I had a major transformation. About 7 days in, I start crying and purging, and I went into this deep state of trance, which whatever people call it, nirvana or bliss, but essentially the NOA AON came about. Now, I had a really clear mission. I had a name NOA, which ended up being and meaning movement, and then AON, which means all or none. So then I discovered my path here in life is to unify the world one person at a time through these tools of realization. So when I walked out of there, I pretty much started selling everything I owned, and I decided that I want to be living in service. And so this is the truth of what brought me here today. Now, what I would like to share with you along this process is that from the time that we're born, we're taught to be living in this tunnel, this place of not looking right, not looking left. From the education, from the school system, there is fear after fear after fear that is embedded into our brain and into us. Now, this is what your field around you looks like when you're on fear. Now look at also that beautiful frequency when you go on the opposite, that beautiful harmony when you're in love. Now, I spent these last 10 years of really focusing and honing, what does it mean to be limitless? And that really comes through every aspect of our life. So think about yourself as a resonating on a certain frequency, on a keynote. If you have a keynote, you've got whatever, left side all the way to right side, or for the sake of this moment, from number 1 to number 10. And you can be operating either out of fear, out of your negative self-doubt and beliefs and thoughts and relationships, or you can be operating out of this limitless place where you are in pure love, in joy, in expansion. Now, easiest way to discern this, and you guys heard this a lot here, is the parasympathetic versus sympathetic nervous system. It's the easiest way. You want to know where you are right now. It's like, are you clinched up and not breathing in a shallow place, or are you expanded, opened up, and you're aware of your awareness of your body? Now, that shifts and changes based on the external, and that shifts and changes throughout a life. And so what I want to show you here is something very beautiful. So if you guys can please go and sit down next to someone, so that way you can connect your hands with a neighbor on left and neighbor on right, ideally. If you don't have neighbors on both sides, it's okay. But I'm going to show you something called frequency of love in a unified, cohesive way. Now you want to be sitting for this. And for this next moment, we're going to turn the lights off and play a little song, a little music. Now, it would not be a conference without unity, without realness. So can you close your eyes and just breathe in and out of your heart? Now, I want you to pay attention to your neighbor on your left and just sense into those hands. Sense into their energy. I want you to pay attention to your neighbor on the other side. And if you don't have a neighbor, just imagine someone you love. Because we're going to step into this beautiful heart frequency, coherence. Now, what I would like you to ask you next is, can you start breathing deep? We're going to inhale into your nose, through your belly, chest, all the way into your head. And then you're going to exhale out your mouth. Deeply in. Let it out. Now continue breathing deep. Let us go. Now stay with the breath. This is not an office breath. Let us bring up some new oxygen, some new information. And anytime you inhale, bring it into your heart. Anytime you exhale, bring it to your neighbors. Let us go fully in. Let it out. Deeper on inhale. Now keep yourself aware. Keep yourself expanding. Stay with me and let us pick it up. Can you bring up more oxygen in? Can you bring up more love to this beautiful group here? Stay with me. A little bit further, a little bit faster. Fully in. Now allow yourself to hear each other breathe. Let us connect to this one breath, one kind, one unified effort. Now for the next 15 seconds, I want to ask everybody to breathe for as one. Breathe even faster. Breathe even deeper. Give it to me all. Let us go. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Final 10. Open up that heart and just imagine this white light coming through your heart into your neighbors. Final 5. Now this is that time. Everybody give me your all. Whatever's left in you. Let us breathe. Final 2. Final 1. Now inhale, hold your breath. Squeeze your core, squeeze your hands. Push the energy from your heart into your neighbors and hold it right there. Just pause. Stay in this feel. Feel that resonance, feel that vibration, feel that pulsation, feel that left, right, plus minus electricity rushing through you, your field. Slow release, exhale, hold your breath on exhale, keep your eyes closed, relax your shoulders, relax your hands, but feel the shift, feel that intention, feel and ask, what does love mean to me? How can I resonate more love to the world? How can I be that radio, that frequency of the other side of this world? Keep that beautiful energy in. And just for the record, if you can tickle your neighbor's hands, just tickle them a little bit, just to open up that beautiful dopamine in our field. And we are humans, we're unity. So whenever you guys are ready, just open your eyes and just slowly come back to the space. Come back to your seat. Stay aware, stay present. Thank you very much. We can turn the sound off whenever. And how you guys doing? Let us shift that a little bit. Now here is what happened. Now I was recently in a Biohacking Summit in Amsterdam, and we literally had 2,000 people holding hands together at the same rhythm, same pace. Now more people, more acceleration of this goodness. Now just like we can listening to this bullshit from radios and TVs, and 95% of this stuff is to keep us in fear. Now when we reverse that, we generate this powerful love frequency. It looks just like this. So one lady was having a heart math device. So you can see that beautiful coherence that we hit. And then the person was wearing a EEG device, which, let me see, I think it already turned off. But it kind of shows you the graphs, how you're like in a theta, delta, low alpha. And when we're breathing, there's that other activation. Now, whatever I'm doing here, this is proven stuff. This stuff works, but we gotta come back to us and extend that deepest us into the world. So this is what I would like to teach you today. Step 1, why your frequency is everything. Step 2, I want you to unlock the secrets of frequency for optimal health and vitality through simple 4 steps of this journey. It will be so easy to identify. And today, if I can give you something, at least it's gonna be this assessment. Where do I go next from here? And then third, the ultimate solution. Now, what I would like to start with is a simple model why your frequency is everything. So there's different levels of frequencies that we operate. First, there's that me, that individual person. This is your mind, body, spirit, emotions. This can be, way, way more complex, but my intention for everything is simplicity, ease, and grace. Now, when you think about your mind, I want you to start thinking about what are those thoughts that you are having first about yourself. What is that triggering 95% of that autopilot that either works for us or works against us? So first, for me in this journey, it became, I literally thought, I'm not enough, I can't do this. I'm this, Czech guy that comes to a different country with barely speaking English, and all of these self-doubts were stalling me from being in that limitless frequency. So mind, super, super important. Step 2, your physical body. Now, for me, I was so sick on every level to a point where I literally had to completely go through that dive. Now, when I say dive, I have literally tried everything from full body stem cell makeover, every advanced technique that's out there, anything that you've seen in the biohacking world, I literally was like, prove it, show it to me. Here I am, sick as it gets, make it happen. And essentially, it started for me, how do I start getting my energy back? How do I sleep better? And again, I'm not gonna talk on this too much, but really the body is the biohacking. That's all the beautiful tools that you're learning here, how to optimize yourself. Your emotions, it's so important. We're so taught that to be emotional, to be in our expression, in our greatest is a weakness. Now, as a man, it was very important to learn how to cry, learn how to accept, learn how to feel, and then allow others to do the same. And so whatever emotions now, again, you've been having and cycling, they're teaching us something. There's something in our thoughts, in our physical body, that is projecting into that emotional feel, that it's either making us feel great or the opposite. So what are those emotions for you? Spirit. This is where it's at. So I'll tell you something. It could be this whole woo-wee-wow thing, but when I went through this psychic training, this stuff is real. So let me tell you something. I've been teaching about these 4 psychic senses. We know that we have the 5 physical senses, but then there's these 4 psychic senses. I'll tell you really quickly about what that looks like. You've got psychic hearing. That is your inner voice that is telling you, hey, maybe you should work out a little bit more. Hey, maybe alcohol is not gonna serve me tonight, right? It's that voice that always has our highest interest. Everyone has it. Who is psychic? Everyone. Now, who is being taught to be psychic? No one. And so that's the problem that we have in today's society. The next one is psychic feeling. It comes from your solar plexus into your hands, and that is when you step into a room, something doesn't feel right. Or your friend, there's a feeling inside of you that's literally through your emotional body that is telling you, what is this? The next one is your psychic seeing, which is your, it could be your lucid dreaming. So some people are very clear in their dreams. Other people can literally see things before they happen. Easiest way to describe this is visionaries. Somebody that's creating a new business, they can see the end solution before it's created. Again, who's psychic? A lot of us. Now, the final one is psychic knowing. That's when you knew you shouldn't have gone or trust that person. You knew that relationship wouldn't work out, but yet we didn't follow it. Now, the best way to discern that knowing is when you think, you don't know. When you know, you don't think. There's no thinking required. The minute that you go into your monkey brain that start telling you, oh, this can't be right, this can't be true, that is not your sense. Now, the way you strengthen this, very important, is you start speaking to it as if it's your best friend. So the minute that you get, hey, go work out, thank you, I heard that. Or hey, that person is not good for you, thank you, I felt that. Does that make sense? So we literally just gotta trust ourselves and rebuild the freaking magnitude of how vast we are. Like, that's it. We all have it inside of us. So that's the me, individual frequency, something that you can very well take care of. Second is the we. So we connected together through our hands, through our hearts, into that group coherence. HeartMath Institute does great work when it comes to heart coherence and all of the studies and so forth. Now, what happens is when you start getting healthy, when you start being good, you realize that you've been on a self-mastery journey, but now you want to shift into service. So for me, my whole life, I go into self-mastery, I learn something, and then I'm like, I want to share it with others, with my community, with the loved ones. It's a natural flow of life, and everybody has a power to share. Everyone in your outlet will be inclined to you, come in the perfect time when they are ready. Again, who is better or worse? No one. We are all equal to whatever we came here to share into this earth. Now, I break this down into 2 things. Human connections. So what are the relationships? Do they empower us? Do they give us power? Do they motivate us? Or do they take us down, right? So you gotta kind of self-assess what is that in your field, in your life. Environment, very, very important. I've actually started diving into this more than ever because I do all these great things for my physical, mental, emotional life, but then I go into a hotel with mold, with poor water, with poor air, and I'm like, well, fuck. What is this, right? We're living in a collective environment, and so we gotta now create something around us that will support us. Does that make sense? So then the final one is the B. This is a supra-consciousness, the ultimate expression. This is something that if universe was created 13.5 billion years ago, or so we know, who knows, that means that there's been something way before we came here. There's something guiding this principle way above what we can even comprehend. And so that is always important to know, sense, and feel moving into that expression. Now, what highest expression means to me, it's to be, do, and have. It's that God in action, or whatever we might call it, because most people, they have to have the right relationships, the right environment, before they take the right action, and they never become it. Now, when we reverse it, we become it, we sense it, we cultivate the right education, the right podcast, then we take the right steps to the project we've always wanted to do, then the results come as a natural flow of life. There's no science to it. Does that make sense? Beautiful. So let's keep on going. I want to really hone in and kind of show you what is that collective frequency. So it's family, friends, co-workers. We are very well aware of what these people might be. And later on, I'm going to touch up on how do you assess that whole process. Some of the most important environmental things, air, water, food, EMF, sound, light, allergens, materials. That's just, if you literally look into this room, there's quite a few things I would have to say already. And so, then it's about mitigating the risks. Now, let's say that you wake up in the morning and you have 100% of willpower, energy to flow, right? But then let's say that you pick up the phone and the first thing you see, I don't know, let's say you got fired, right? Something ridiculous. Then all of a sudden, shutdown, fear, complete limitation. Then you wake up and you stand up and let's say that you eat good old cereals or something else, right? I'm just saying this as worse as it would get, right? Then you immediately get a sugar spike, then you will go down, your energy's even lower. Then you drive to work and somebody crosses in front of you. Again, whoosh, something even lower. So then you go and get to work or work on your mission, and maybe you're operating only out of 40%, totally in fear and totally in limited mindset. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's so important that we reverse engineer our life around us so that way we continue operating at the highest level. And if at any point of time something else triggers it, we take a pause, we step into our body, we clear, we let go of stress, we connect to our breath, relax our shoulders, and we can become aware that, hey, this is not me. It's an external effect that is affecting me, but I have the power to change that. So that's the we part of things. Now let's unlock the secrets of this. So in this journey, I've noticed that I always go through the same process. It's 4 steps of this process. And essentially it's the wake up phase. In the wake up phase is that something's not working. Whatever it's relationship, your thoughts, your body has allergies, or let's say that you have low vitamin D, it's that phase when you're testing. You're testing or you are exploring something else. The second phase is cleanup, and this is the old needs to go, so we can remove that, so we can add more in. So in that process, it would be, toxins, detox the body, purge the mind. That could be a dopamine fast, for instance, great way to come back to your center. It could be just going into a self-retreat, just unplugging yourself. The next one is power-up phase. And this is when, if you tested on low on vitamin D in the wake-up phase, well, let's get a vitamin D shot. Let's now start figuring out how do we power that up so we can add more. New relationships, new education, new mindset, new, I am powerful instead of limited, right? So this is when we use all of the other frequencies that we operate in, and then we plug it into a success route. The final one is the rest up. Rest up phase is so crucial. We don't spend time on our own anymore in today's world. If we literally, even just for a day or several hours, we go into nature, we turn off our cell phone, we completely unplug so you can hear what these senses are saying, then imagine something keeps on pounding at you, work and this and schedule and da-da-da-da-da. It's enormous in today's world. So rest up is when you re-identify yourself to the next wake-up phase, where else in your life there is more. just for the record, there's no mastery whatsoever. The minute that you master something, the whole storm of new growth is going to come at you. And so as much as I would like to say I'm master at this, oh, don't think so. Maybe master at recognizing this. So that's that. So let's talk about wake up more in depth. So I don't know about you, but we live in the world of deception. I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm using the cigarettes as a smoke, but EMFs, today's world, is literally the new cigarettes. The only thing is that we literally can't see it, right? And so if you have 5G towers, if you have all of that immense amount of frequency, electromagnetic frequencies pounding into us all the time, well, what does that do to our consciousness? Nobody's really looking into the physical, mental, and we already know all the studies how bad it is. But who's looking into like, how does it affect our evolution as a species to be that limitless love being? The next thing is, our food pyramid. I don't know about you guys, but, it's been pretty outdated. And literally, it's the opposite of what we're doing here. The next one, I was just like, really? Like, Phelps, Pfizer, nice little promo going on. My point is, I'm just showing you that there is a problem and we have to wake up from that reality that what is happening to us, people don't have your highest interest. And that's the bottom line. You have to take on your interest and then share with your community around you. The other part, have you guys ever seen this? Starlink? So this is already today the amount of satellites that you see that will resonate the frequencies for people's homes. So awesome win, right? We're literally connected on every portion of the ocean. But hello, we're literally clouded. And has anybody giving us the choice to opt in or out? Because we think that we can opt in or out right now going to a forest, for instance, from EMFs. But this, I'll replay it. Just so you see how vast it is. Now, this is supposed to be completely full. I forget, 30,000 or 40,000, whatever the number is, of satellites by 2030. So we've got to figure out a way to get out of all of this. Now, what I would like you to do, if you have a notes, let's just do a simple assessment where you are. Just write down the mind, body, spirit, emotions, human connections, environment. And what we're going to do, I'm just putting like a basic number. So number 1, not quite good. Number 10, awesome. And what I would like you to do is just truly assess, where am I with my thoughts? Where am I with my physical body? How do I feel? Where am I with the spirit connection, that guidance? Emotions, human connection. How are your relationships serving you or not? And then your environment, that's exactly what I was talking about. So that's the air, everything that you can think of as of today at your own home. Now, when you get number for each, just simply divide it by the total and then receive an average number. Now, again, this is so simple, but very intuitive because you know at your inner calling, where are you in that data? Now, of course, we can also take on EEG tests, HRV tests. There is a full panel for blood sensitivities. Everything else is all very, very helpful. And I've done it all because I wanted to understand, where am I? So definitely that's the wake-up phase as well. But at the end of the day, if we just simplify it, check out where you are today. Here are some of the other tests that basically whenever I was exploring through this journey, I went on. So EEG is an amazing way to recognize where you are in your brain. Medical tests, anything from hair, stool, the blood pricks. I mean, basically like a nice complex data system. Especially in today's world, environmental testing. I would definitely check, your levels, whatever it's mold, whatever it's toxicity. We just discovered in our house that literally we've completely biohacked that there's traces of lead after all the things that we've done. And so really, you've got to, see those most important topics. And then also checking for the basics like dirty electricity, environmental testing, your air, your water quality. Just know where you stand so you know what you're putting in because that affects that 100% line that you wake up with. Now, let's clean up. So shall we look into kind of the cleanup phase? So what I really want you to think about, and this is a self-work, right? So I'm gonna give you the guidance today, but see if you can spend in the next week time on your own. Say to everyone, to the world, I'm taking 4 hours of my time, and I'm gonna go into what are my thoughts. Ask your thoughts, are they for you or no? Ask your body, and honestly, in today's environment, detox is something we gotta have in a regular basis no matter what. Earlier, I was talking about my little regiment, but the classical intermittent fasting, moving into at least once a day, once a month where you do just water fast. I think it's very great, especially when you go into the rest up phase. So you can also feel yourself without all of the clutter. And then letting go of these emotions that could be trauma. Emotional coaching is very, very great for this. And then, of course, there is a lot going on with plant medicine and many other forms. For me, I prefer breath work. I get into this in heightened states of being, and things start coming out. To me, it's sometimes deeper than any ayahuasca or iboga journey that we've been on. And then relationships. Gosh. That's so important. Just really analyze your top 5 people that you see the most in your life. I think this was Jim Rohn or somebody that originally said this, that you become the summary of the 5 people around you. Hey, this is truth. This really makes you either resonate with their frequency, or you be the generator of your own and then attract the tribe that you like. And then for the environmental part, so these are some of the most important things that I would look at when you go back into your temple, your home. Mold, 50+% of houses in America have mold in them. Blue lights, it's everywhere we go, and if we also have that at home, it is gonna take your energy down. Polluted air, if you live in the cities, go in the forest, go into nature, but there is, many different solutions for this, but make sure that your air, especially what you breathe home, is not filled up with all of these pollutants. Toxic materials. Oh my gosh, we did everything we could, and then we're like, well, what about what we're wearing? That's literally something that you have on you pretty much the whole day. So very important. Unfiltered tap water. Unless you are somewhere in the middle of Swiss mountains or by the source, it is not gonna be good. Toxic paint, toxic soil, and toxic cookware. I'm gonna quickly touch up on the soil. So, again, we went through everything inside of our house, and then we realized, well, what about all the fertilizers and everything else that now it's coming back in? So it's almost good to start outside in when you are in this process. EMF it's a big issue in today's world, whatever we like it or not. And if you've never read the book EMF by Dr. Mercola, it's amazing. It will really give you a great guidance on what to trust. Because for a long time, I was between the lines, because there's literally contradictory science on everything that is not bad and out there. And especially, literally, if you Google, are EMFs bad for me? The first thing that pops up, there's no evidence that they are. But yet, Dr. Mercola found 6,000+ studies that say literally the otherwise. And so these are some of the biggest things that we removed out of our space. I'm not gonna go through them, just check through it wherever that is at your home. And some of the biggest surprises is baby monitors. Kids are way more susceptible to EMFs than adults. I think it's 10 times, especially in growing tumors in their brain. So it's a really, really big issue. And my first thought was schools. I mean, literally at schools, the lights, the air, the way we're sitting, it's awful. So we gotta make a difference. Now, it's time to power up. So I don't wanna be now all the way this negative nanny, and I know this could be like, well, there's a lot out there. Now, that's not the point. The point is that we bring the awareness, we do what we can whenever we can, we don't go into that fear. We also have very much strong power within creating boundaries around our space and around our energy. And so whenever you kind of do step by step, whenever you feel that the right time comes in, this is when we are ready to power up. So first thing first, let's focus on the 4 elements. The body, this is the biohacking. So we gotta treat our body as a temple. This is, our life. This is what gives us the experience here. And this is why, there's many amazing books, whatever it's Headstrong, whatever it's any of speakers here really speaking about how to hack your temple. I will let you guys, go through that. Listen to your inner guidance. Your body is the smartest mechanism that there is. If you think about computers, it's an extension of our mind. And so whatever we're seeing in a computer, we can do with our mind to our physical body. So if you think of your body as a hardware, your mind as a software, and then when you demand things from your body, in today's world, we became so disconnected that there's no response. But when you go into breathwork, meditation, and you start acknowledging these sensations, you will literally start having pulsation. There will be little taps. There will be goosebumps. Your body will start communicating to you, and all it wants is to you to listen. It's a really magical thing that at first I thought wasn't possible. This is crazy. But it literally starts happening when you start paying attention. Mind, so that's the rewiring your thinking. Your thoughts create words. Your words make up action. So literally, the summary of all your thoughts, if you reversed it back, you took some time and you realized that this is literally happening in my life, well, that's because those are your beliefs that you're claiming in of who you are. And so your mind is the most and fastest thing in the universe, your intention. So intention guides everything. So when you intend, I intend for myself to be healthy, happy, and strong. If you just start saying this, but then through the emotions, you start elevating it and feeling it. This is a lot of work of Dr. Joe Dispenza. He is a great way to start learning this process. But again, this is not here just because. This is here for us to utilize us as these powerful, creative beings. Emotions also, what I want to say, so I want you to think of your body, mind, emotions, and spirit, that they each need to be fed proper food. So just like you need to eat healthy food for your body, you need to eat healthy food for your mind, and that is, what are you consuming? What podcasts, what books, everything that you're consuming is make up your mind into this new mind that then you go out there and creating. Same way goes for emotions, and I'll tell you something that I've learned. How you balance emotions is through art, through timelessness, through music. Because the minute that you are doing music, dancing, art, something that maybe you don't have to be an artist or any of this, but we are all artists in our heart. So when you lose yourself in time, like Sips and Stroke, one of those places, whatever, you go in for 3 hours and then you do a little bit of art, those times will allow you to fuel your emotions, your emotional body, so it doesn't hurt, it doesn't have these episodes. And then spirit, I mean, that's meditation, that's breath work, that's silence and nature. That's when we connect. Now, when I was telling you about the physical body being the hardware, the mental body being the software, well, how do we connect to the universe? We need an internet. Our body's internet is internet. Literally, it's the connection to our inner clock, inner diving, and that's connecting into the supra-consciousness, that highest expression. But without us resonating that frequency, slowing things down from that high vibration, that beta, moving into alpha, theta, right? That theta state is the sweet spot for that divine connection. When you are no longer thinking, that's when you're purely not on 3G, but 10G, because you are in, right? In the most holistic way. So that's for our body, mind, emotions, and spirit. Now, here is for your home. So how do we power up where we stay the most time? So especially, our car, travel, home, and office, whatever you're spending the most time, that's where I would put the most amount of effort and money first. So that way you really are making sure that it's working for you. And essentially, what I would like to show you is some of the solutions that we found. So for anything that you've ever thought that could be bad, there is already a solution out there. I know you know this, but it's a matter of now stepping into taking the steps. So number one, air filter. Very easy, and nowadays it's not as expensive. I'll show you later kind of where you can get very solid filtration, but adding that into your air. clean water. I mean, in today's world, even if you just restructure your water, it is not enough. The city water is so bad that if you want to drink city water, you got to do reverse osmosis and then remineralize your water again. It literally, until then, nothing is out of it that you would want for your health. I love blue lights, of course. We use these ones that you turn it on once, it's the morning. Then there's a future turn it on twice, then it's the midday energy or the light. And then you turn it on again and it becomes red. So then at night, you can stimulate melatonin so you can go to sleep and your whole house can turn red, all with one little clicker. Organic bedding, air tubes. You know, if you have anybody, the Apple Buds, just throw them away. The amount of EMFs that it imitates, it is not worth your health. And non-toxic cleaning supplies. Nowadays, I mean, there's literally a ozone add-on you can add to your washing machine. I thought that's amazing. You can literally ozonate your clothes. There's also laundry additives. There's many, many ways how you can already clean, not just with organic materials, but on top, addressing all of the issues that are in our environment. EMF clothing, whenever we fly, you gotta protect yourself. I mean, it's the high altitude radiation, it's the immense amount of, imagine people in apartments or in offices, it's literally everywhere. So you wanna kind of shield yourself whatever you can and depolarize yourself even further. Now, how many of you have heard of depolarization in the EMF world? Awesome. So there's a harmonizing devices. That could be stickers. That could be many different brands on the market. But then there's this groundbreaking depolarization, which essentially works on mitigating the negative ions in your sphere, in your room, and it's allowing your room to be depolarized of all of the EMF pollution or any sorts of electric pollution. Now, when I saw that, I was like, wow, okay, so we don't have to stop using 5G. We don't have to stop using all of these things. We can actually live with it, but here's a safe device to use. So that's kind of how I look at all of these. So that way we're not, leaving the Earth because we would literally have to go inner Earth, but we're actually able to co-op with it. Now, this is something fun for you guys to check out if you've never seen this. There is a FindASpring website, so you can see if there is a spring water near your house. What we do with our kids, we actually make it a weekly trip. We go into this little spring, we fill up all of our glass tubs, and then we bring it home. And then we still reactivate it, we still take it through our system. But it became this love with water. Water's energy, water's life, water carries information. There is so much study on it. When we pray over water, we activate it, even with just your intention. And so find your spring if you have one nearby. Antenna search, this is really interesting. So you can actually see within your area how much EMF from where they're coming from. And so, for example, where we live, there's only 4 5G towers versus other places, it's every 200 yards or whatever their structure is. But a great way to notice which way they are actually going. So let's say that you go on a morning hike, and there is a major cell phone tower in your way that radiates through you, essentially. You maybe want to take a different hike so that way you're not exposing yourself even further. This website can help you find that. And so, yeah, this moves us into the rest, up, and repeat. Now, I've said a lot of information, so it's time to just observe it. This is that time, like I was saying early on, we simply spend on us. That's when we retest, redefine, upgrade, and celebrate. This life is about joy, it's about having fun, it's about being with the people we love. And so use this period to step into you, the true you. Now, can I do this? It's probably a question, right? Because at first, when I saw this, I was like, that's a lot, right? There's a lot of things in our way, and that's why I put the process in where you can just simply start with the little things that are the most effective first and one thing at a time. We've lived up to here with this, so we're gonna be okay, but eliminate it out of your system as soon as you can so you can be limitless. Now, here's the ultimate solution. So I spent last 5 years essentially looking for groundbreaking companies that are here for the greatest good of the world. And so basically, what I do is I categorize my life into 3 segments: passion, purpose, and legacy. My passion is music, so I create frequency sounds, frequency DJ sets where people can allow this out. And then I also, in my purpose, is my lectures, my retreats, my workshops, everything that we do, that's where I feel the most in purpose. Now, legacy is how do I also still make money in this world, and how am I able to do this? And essentially, I've been on a lookout to create companies that can actually have the right solution for you on every step of the way. Now, I've been sick and tired of profits and how these companies, literally where we got here today is because of our main purpose of life is not to create these beautiful beings and help everyone around us and be in unity, but it is to profit, to win, and it's all about me, me, me. Look at my gains, look at what I can do and how much I can raise. And instead, the world that I want to see in this world is we. How can we step and get a charge? How can we come together as one and we can tackle these things throughout our lives? Now, for this, so I recently joined a company called Conscious Spaces. And NOA AON, this is something that we've really focused on the mind, body, emotions, and spirit. So if anybody is interested and like what we're saying, what we do there, we have courses for breathwork, meditation. We have also a psychic series coming out. So it's a modern psychic way how you can become one as well. And then with Conscious Spaces, this is the one that I'm excited about the most right now, because check this out. So all that I have been talking about, that I've been on this mission to change, we have it simplified with education, with science, with every possible way for you to have this step so you can see and find it for your own self. If anybody likes to explore, please, we have this barcode here. And let me tell you the vision with what we have. What we're working on is a certification program that people can go get certified on all of this. And then they can come into people's homes, they'll survey your home, they will see where you're at, and then based on your budget, they will find the right technology that is scientifically validated and proven to work and give it for you. So that way, it is not this world where we have to be on it by ourselves. Now we can do it together and have this community that can do it as well. Finally, what we're heading with this, it's basically, I see this as a Airbnb of conscious living. So eventually, as people are creating these conscious homes and villages or whatever, we're gonna be able to put it on a market share. So whenever you travel, you will be able to only travel through houses that will be in your environment. So it will take some time, but I am extremely excited about all of it. So thank you guys so much for listening to me, for being here at the Congress. I want to give you a big applause to just taking this leap, because more of you means more of us. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Pavel.